our next U.S. Senator, folks, Marco Rubio. Before I introduce Alan Bentz, who's going to give you some great words about Marco, I'd like to recognize Marty Coley. Marty? Welcome. State Representative from District 7. Just a few words, Marty.
Oh, and I know you're not here to see me. I know you are here to see our next U.S. Senator. And I had the opportunity to serve under Marco Rubio, and he is what we need in Washington. The passion, the commitment that he will take for us to Washington is absolutely vital to our state, to our communities. So I'm asking you to join me. Let's send Marco to Washington. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Marty. Our next speaker is going to introduce Marco Rubio. He's another great conservative leader from Bay County, and I think we all know him very well. Alan Bentz.
Well, I won't be very long because the person you're here to listen to is right behind me, Marco Rubio. But I want to tell you that when Marco Rubio began his quest to be our next U.S. Senator, at one point in time in the race against Charlie Crist, he was down over 51 points. And everyone said, Marco, get out of the race. You can't win. Run for Attorney General, then wait your time. And you know what Marco did? He hung in there. And all of a sudden, and I can tell you, in the political world, especially in today's world, if you have values, if you have principles, you win in the end. You'll win. And that's going to be proven this Tuesday when Charlie Crist is out of a job.
Yay!
That's great news. Do you want more Obamacare in Washington?
No!
Do you want more big government in Washington?
No!
Do you want more insiders in Washington?
No!
Do you want to reclaim America?
Yes!
Here's Marco Rubio!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker Bentz, for that introduction. I'm grateful to you. Great leader. Just got elected chairman of the Florida Chamber of Commerce. He's going to do a phenomenal job. I'm always excited to see Marty Coley. We got to serve together in the Florida House. She was a great member of the Florida House, and I know this community is going to send her back to Tallahassee. She's one of our brightest stars there, one of our hardest workers, one of the few people who time and again has proven they understand what life is like in the real world, and she's able to translate that to the public policy she proposes and supports. I am so proud of the work she is doing and has done, and grateful that she has offered herself for public service, and thanking you for sending her to represent you in Tallahassee, Florida, in our state capital. Marty Coley. And I'm excited about your congressional race. I know Steve couldn't be here today. He's, as we speak, I believe, in a debate over in Tallahassee, where I'm sure he's now making the closing argument for why Alan Boyd needs to go into retirement. Steve is one of the most exciting and unexpected races in the country, and he's going to be a key part of accomplishing a key thing: firing Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. In fact, that may very well be the first vote he casts. I'm grateful to all of you for being here today. I know it's the middle part of the day, the middle part of the week. There are other things going on in your lives, but you came here today, and I'm thanking you for welcoming us and for allowing us to share these few moments with you. It's been a long road, not literally. I mean, I just came over from Pensacola. 21 months is how long we've been involved in this campaign. I look back to the early days of it. I remember that early on largely consisted of getting in my car and driving anywhere where they would have me speak, and speaking to as many people as would show up. Sometimes it was 20 people, sometimes it was 50. But everywhere we went with a pretty consistent message, and maybe some of you were one of those early stops. And the message goes like this: that we are the greatest nation in all of human history. But that many of the things that make us exceptional and unique were being threatened by the decisions that were being made in Washington, D.C. That it was important to admit and acknowledge that both parties are to blame for this, that the policies that both parties have pursued in Washington have placed us on this road, but that we have never seen anything like the last 18 months. And that if the next 18 months look anything like the last 18 months, we will cross a point where we may not be able to return from.
That's right.
And on that basic principle, we outlined some ideas about things that we should do instead. Why it was important to have people in government, especially in Washington, who understood that jobs are not created by politicians. They're not created by senators or congressmen or presidents. They're created by everyday people from all walks of life that start a business or expand an existing business. That understand that that's what it takes to grow our economy. And what we need are political figures that understand that the role of government is to make it easier, not harder, for people to open up a business or expand an existing business. People that understand that our country cannot continue to spend more money than it takes in. Got a national debt deficit now running over $1 trillion a year. A national debt that stands over $13.5 trillion.
That's right.
That on the current tax and spend rate that they have us on will double by the middle of this decade and triple by its end. That will one day leave us spending more money servicing our debt than it will than what we spend on our national security.
That's right.
That need to look no further than the things that are happening in Western Europe to understand what happens to a nation that does not confront the fact that its government spends more money than it can sustain and does so over a period of time. And finally, leaders that understand that the world is a better and safer place when America is the strongest military power on the earth. We said back then that what we needed to do was send to Washington, D.C. people that would stand up to this agenda.
That's right.
Call it for what it is, wrong-headed, taking us in a direction that will rob us of our exceptionalism. But we said that that was not enough. That simply sending people to Washington to stand up to this agenda was good, but not enough. Because this country doesn't need an opposition party. It needs an alternative. An alternative to the direction that Washington has been taking us for too long. And so I'm proud that in this campaign, we have outlined 80 specific ideas, over 80 specific ideas, of things that we will stand for and be held accountable to if elected. Things that will give us the kind of simplified and predictable tax code that will allow small businesses to grow and prosper. That understand there is a role for government regulation to protect our safety, but those regulations cannot be so onerous so that people cannot afford to even go into business in order to comply with them. We also have to have a government that understands that it cannot continue to spend more money than it takes in. And so that's why we talk about the need for a balanced budget amendment, for rolling back discretionary spending and freezing it at pre-Obama levels, about the urgent need to look at America's entitlement programs, especially for young workers, and